Good morning and welcome to Fit News. I'm Jen from Fit with Shaver, and I help women learn how to make exercise work with their fluctuating hormones and not against by doing the right exercises at the right time and the right intensity. If you notice, this week we're on location for Fit News and we're also not live. We'll be back live next week. If you joined us last week, we discussed the importance of having a healthy relationship with exercise. And I mentioned that it is important to see our exercise, there's a fly, it's important to see our exercise as something that brings joy into our lives by celebrating what our bodies can do and allow us to maintain a healthy lifestyle so we can be active and not passive participants in our families. Since this is the last Tuesday of February, and February happens to be American Heart Month, I want to spend some time discussing heart health. It is well known that cardiovascular disease, and this includes stroke, claim the life of a woman every 80 seconds. And at the same time, 80% of cardiovascular diseases may be prevented. Cardiovascular disease is the number one killer in women. And it is also not a one-size-fits-all. And it doesn't affect all women alike. Often, the warning signs differ from men and women. And there are a few common myths that I'd like to discuss today. Myth number 1, cardiovascular disease is for old people. Wrong. While the risks of heart disease will increase with age, the combination of birth control and smoking can increase heart disease by 20%. And I venture to say that the old ladies are not taking the birth control pills. Myth number 2, fit people don't need to worry about cardiovascular disease. Wrong. You can be of optimal weight and have high cholesterol. So it is important that even if you are fit, that you continue to monitor your cholesterol levels, especially if you have a family history of it. Myth number 3, I don't have any symptoms, so I'm good. Wrong. 64% of women who die suddenly of coronary disease had no symptoms. They had no warning signs. And often these warning signs will differ for men and women. While chest pain is often a warning sign for men, for women, the warning signs often include back pain, shortness of breath, and jaw pain. The great news is that we can reduce our risk of heart disease by as much as 80% through the proverbial diet and exercise. I know. Well, what does that mean? What exactly does that mean to have a great diet and exercise? A good diet would be a diet that is filled with lower sodium, it's lower in saturated fats, it's low in sugar and sweetened beverages, you know what I'm talking about, that fancy latte, and it's lower in processed meats. Well, great. What does that mean? I can eat some twigs and grass? No, wrong. There are plenty of fruits and veggies that you can fill your plate with. Think about 4.5 cups a day of fruits and veggies, nuts, legumes, fish like salmon. If we fill our diets with these things first, we won't have as much room for the junk. Great. Does that mean that I can't have cake and ice cream? What? No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that we need to be mindful of these things and have them in smaller portions. It's about being realistic about what we're putting into our bodies. And as for the second part, the exercise, there are many benefits to getting in 30 minutes of exercise 5 to 6 days a week. Now, keep in mind that this needs to be a varied routine. And while walking is great, and it's particularly a great place to start if you haven't been exercising, it's going to take more than walking to keep our heart healthy. Strength training mixed with high-intensity cardio sessions will give you that well-rounded approach. While the strength training will build the lean muscle that will help us to keep our weight under control, the cardio, the high-intensity cardio intervals, will help to keep our heart muscle strong. By making these lifestyle changes, we can lower our risk of heart disease and lower our risk of being part of that statistic. A recent study from the American Heart Association shows that women are more aware of heart disease as the leading cause of death, and this number has doubled. This means that we're becoming more aware of our chances of being part of this statistic. This is good news, because the more we know, the more information we have to pass on to other women, and the fewer will be a part of that statistic. So the deaths will go down and happiness will go up. Be an example this week of how to have a healthy heart. Improve that diet this week, get out there, get some exercise in, and make it a great week. I'll see you next week for some more Fit News.